guys, the Super Review Show here, and this is the Forehead. He is back once more to talk this week, or at least this episode of Rock Talk, is on U2's The Unforgettable Fire. Notice how I did that on camera and off camera. This album is one of U2's finest albums, in my opinion. He is not as familiar with it, but he's familiar with some of the hits off it. This album is... just to preface by saying this, U2's prior album, War, was their breakthrough album with Sunday Bloody Sunday, New Year's Day, Two Hearts Beat as One, blah, 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 blah. Now, and 40, really good. Mm-hmm. This one was the one that they started to experiment around with sounds. In particular, like the wall of sound, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, with pet sounds and stuff like that. You want to grab that for me? Like, the wall of sound is something that a lot of people may not be familiar with, but it's something that it was created by a guy by the name of Phil Spector. Phil Spector worked a lot in the 60s and maybe the late 50s or throughout the 60s into the 70s. He was very prominent on a lot of recordings, like the Righteous Brothers' You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling, the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. He was really the genius behind creating what's called a wall of sound, where you hear their combinations of sounds creating this really amazing sounding record. So this is back like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Mm-hmm. So with this album, U2 decided, okay, let's experiment on it for ourselves, and let's see what we can do with that. Honestly, this is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's not like in the top 10 or top 20 for me, but it's definitely up there for me. One of the things, why don't you go down, as I'm talking, why don't you go down through the track?
Yeah, the track. Sounds good.
Go through the track listing for a sec. So, and remember, it's vinyl. So side one is A Sort of Homecoming, one of my favorites. Pride in the Name of Love, everyone knows Pride in the Name of Love. Wire, which is, I'm not super duper familiar with. The Unforgettable Fire, which is actually about the bombing of Hiroshima. Promenade, I don't remember offhand. 4th of July is an instrumental piece. Literally, they were so experimental within this time, they were actually creating instrumentals on their album. Bad, one of my top 10 favorite songs of all time. Indian Summer Sky, not as familiar with, and Elvis Presley in America, a kind of a longer song, it's like 6 minutes, I believe, and MLK, a solemn ending to an album. I'm talking a lot here. What do you? Everything I've said so far. Do you have any questions? Like, do you have any concerns?
I would say.
Would
you say?
Yes.
Like we've said before.
Yes.
Would you say that MLK is a good way to end an album? Would you like to explain that?
Yes, I would think that, because MLK, for those of you who don't know or don't, because nowadays we do shuffle play, we shuffle everything. But back in the day, you were stuck with your vinyl. You were stuck with listening from side A, the top of side 1, to the bottom of side B. So you had to listen to the whole thing, and nowadays is not the case. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people miss out on the great cuts or great tracks. Like Bad was not a hit, but it's one of my top 10 favorite songs of all time because it wasn't a hit, number one. And number two, it's very atmospheric. It's got this keyboard thing in it. If you know what I mean, it's incredible. We're going to leave a link for the full album in the description of this video so you guys can check it out. But you mentioned MLK closing out an album. MLK is, if you listen to it, it's just this instrumental, like, little... It's very minimal words. Bono's singing very slow melodies, and it's a really, I don't want to say solemn, but it's a very quiet way to close out a really powerful, truthfully powerful music-wise album. Yeah. And there were some of U2's best songs came off of this album. I mean, Pride in the Name of Love, Bad. What else is on here? MLK is pretty good. Unforgettable Fire is great.
Pride is great. Pride is the best.
Pride was probably the biggest hit off this album.
I just like hit songs, so Pride I love.
I know.
It sounds more like, would you say this is another question? Because this video is more yours. I'm not going to give a rating because I'm just here to ask questions more.
That's right.
Would you say Pride sounds more like a war song?
No, because I know what it's about.
You know what it's about?
It's about Martin Luther King Jr. Because oh man, how do the words go? Early in the morning,
in the name of love.
They could not take your pride in the name of love. One more in the name of love. One man come on a barbed wire fence. One man come. It's about MLK. It's about Martin Luther King Jr. Believe it or not. How U2 has always been known for their writing of certain lyrics, in my opinion. Like, Where the Streets Have No Name and stuff like that is crazy. One in particular is crazy. Like, as a lyricist, it's really articulate and unique. But as far as like Pride in the Name of Love goes, Pride in the Name of Love, it was probably the most well-known song off this album, without a doubt. But at the same time, it's about one of the beautiful things about lyricists, in particular Bono, that appealed to me, is that they write about things that are true, and not as political, but just more like they wrote about things that were very important to them, and they thought that this was a great inspiration, this is a great ideology. So what they did was, he wrote Pride in the Name of Love in kind of, I don't want to say tribute, but just something to Martin Luther King Jr. Because if you listen to it carefully and you think about Martin Luther King Jr. in that, and you try and compare and contrast the two, it's really a unique.
It is.
And it was a hit on the radio, of course, but at the same time, it's a brilliant, I guess, tribute to the man for the civil rights.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the truth. So, but that was really the only hit single off this album. I mean, they released The Unforgettable Fire. They released Bad. I believe they released Bad. MLK. So there was like 4 singles out of like the 10.
Yeah.
Like what? I'll hold it for you. Like what? Out of all of these here, like you recognize Pride. That's it.
Pride. Bad. And then.
Bad's about heroin, believe it or not.
Yeah, and then I know The Unforgettable Fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's only gonna give a rating this one. I know more about the next album.
We got some in store for you. So like this is also. By the way, can I say I love the cover? Look at that cover. It's so.
It is. It's a nice cover.
It's
Ireland. It's a castle, definitely.
I forget. Is it Slane Castle?
Might be.
I could be wrong. I mean, there's so many castles in Ireland, but shout out to all those Irish fans.
That's right.
But like, it's truly.
I do like the cover.
Like if you could.
And then this is nice too.
Oh yeah, like
with all them out there like that.
The back of it. That looks like the castle from Monty Python.
It actually does. Oh my god.
A little bit, yeah. So, but like, bottom line, I know you're not gonna give a rating on this, but by the way, this was the predecessor to the Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree came out in '87. This was '84. Honestly, everyone knows. Everyone knows With or Without You. Everyone knows I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. A lot of people know Where the Streets Have No Name. But not a lot of people know, like U2 had a lot of hits.
They did a lot.
A lot of chart hitters, and some people don't know too many of them though. But some of their best work, I believe, are deep cuts. In my opinion, like there's a song, not just look, Bad is in my top, is number 9 of my all-time favorite songs ever. Only because of the instrumentation. And the way and it hits me, I'm just telling you my opinion personally. It hits me and it causes like, you get this atmospheric feel just by listening to it, and it's truly beautiful. And not many artists in general.
A lot of U2 songs are like that though too.
Yeah, like Where the Streets Have No Name is in my top 10 as well. But that one has like the opening synth, and it's really, U2 has always been a big thing for me, just because. No, not just for this album or just for any other stuff, but just they're just so good at crafting songs that in like that unique way, and I've always loved that.
I gotta say, I don't think any other hit songs are sort of like a U2 hit song. You know, like, U2 is like very unique in its sound.
Yeah, look at
the way they sing.
With or Without You was a number 1 on the Hot 100.
Yeah,
and it's one of my all-time favorites, but. I don't know With or Without You. I'm thinking Where the Streets Have No Name, but With or Without You, it's very like if those of you have any understanding of guitar or anything, it's very easy to play, but but the way that they put it together is a really unique way, and I've always applauded them for that.
That's why U2 is one of my favorite songs, even though I don't know much about that album.
Yeah, like if you were listening to a sort of Homecoming, if you were listening to The Unforgettable Fire, just these individual songs, like The Unforgettable Fire is about Hiroshima.
Yeah.
I kid you not. It's about the bombing of Hiroshima.
Really?
Yeah, like they went from writing about like not rebel songs like Sunday Bloody Sunday. Well, Sunday Bloody, that's another story. But New Year's Day, Seconds, like those songs on war are very different from the songs on The Unforgettable Fire. And this was the album that kind of launched the Joshua Tree as far as the sound of it goes. And then they're just so diverse and so unique. And if you haven't checked out any of U2, do yourself a mother effing favor.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna curse on
you. Yeah. We don't want to get them on with that.
Because listen, kids, it's okay. But like, do yourself a favor and go. Even if like, oh yeah, I know With or Without You. I know I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I know One. I know Mysterious Ways. If you know the hits, kind of delve into the albums that they were off of, like Beautiful Day. Beautiful Day is great. Elevation, Stuck in a Moment You Can't Get Out. That's like 2000. Vertigo is really great.
Would you say this album's better or War?
Oh, god damn, man.
I'm here for questions. I gotta ask something.
I think War will forever in history be their breakthrough album.
Yeah.
I feel like this album is just a little bit better. In my opinion, personally, I know I'm going to get U2 fans like up their butt, like screaming at me like for this, but I just think the instrumentation on this album is a little bit more diverse and it was revolutionary for the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wars to me sounds like any other, not like any other, but it's just it's its own unique, like loud, rambunctious, loud album. This album is loud, but it's loud in its
So you would say it's more deep, this album?
Yeah, like I said, if you have no idea what we're talking about, delve into the description of this video and look up this whole album, because truthfully, like I said, the sounds of the album are what really appealed to me personally, and you too. Like you too, haha. Pride in the Name of Love. Sorry, I pull that joke all the time with people. But Pride in the Name of Love, despite it being a big hit, it has sound in it. It has it's really hard for room. It has room in it. You can like invest yourself in it. It's really hard to describe it, but it's really unique at the same time. And that's one of the reasons why it appeals to me. I know you're not going to give a rating, but if you had to, I know you're not familiar with it. I tell you what, your homework is to go back, and the next Rock Talk episode we'll do next week. You'll give an answer.
Sounds good. I will do that.
All right. After this whole thing. My rating of The Unforgettable Part is, look, it's not the Joshua Tree, it's not Octone Baby, and it's not War, it's not Boy, it's not. But it is up there. They pull from it all the time. I will say, I'm going to give this out, 10 being the best, I'm going to give this album I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Only because it's not like super high, but it's still an incredible masterpiece of a production, truthfully. And it's like I said, if you haven't listened to the whole album, listen to the whole album from start to finish. This is my recommendation. Don't skip around. Don't just jump to the Pride in the Name of Love or Bad. Just go all the way through and you'll understand what we're talking about. Because like back in the day, you couldn't skip. I have a record player in my house.
He has a lot.
And I have a ton of vinyl.
I mean, a ton of vinyl, but he does have a record player.
I have a turntable because I like to personally. I found a way to listen outside of on my laptop and stuff. I like listening to the songs in the order that they were put in. You can't listen to Born to Run or Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen in the order on shuffle. You just can't, in my opinion. Only because of the order that they were put in is the order that the story is told. You can't listen to American Idiot by Green Day without listening to, check your phone, without listening to, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't listen to those songs
without listening to them in order.
Like, American Idiot is off topic, but American Idiot is based off of The Who's Tommy and Quadrophenia. Those were vinyl put in a set order that told a story throughout the whole album. It's called the concept album. American Idiot is the most recent, two Green Day albums. American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown are based off that. This, I'm going for a tangent, but like that's what I'm saying. You have to listen to albums in certain orders to get the full picture, and that's how the artist or the art is presented to you. This is one way of doing that. You gotta listen to the album in its entirety. You can't skip around. Like, how would you like listening to Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band in shuffle?
No.
Starting with Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, going to it with a little help, and then going down to Getting Better.
It makes it so much better, in my opinion.
I know you're disagreeing with me.
No, I think you're right. Like, a lot of kids, they'll just like pick one song or pick
things like Spotify. They just say, "Oh, just click shuffle play."
It's not. You don't get the same experience because I've listened to albums before where you just listen to it all the way through. It's more presented as a story instead of just.
Yeah, I just had 1984 by Van Halen playing, and there's a reason why. Jump was the #1 hit, but there's a predecessor instrumental before it. Before when the album starts, so it's 84, Jump, Panama, and it goes from there. It doesn't tell a story, but it's the order that they put it in. I feel like the order that they put it in back in the day told a certain narrative.
And exactly. Well, that's a story. Narrative's a story.
I know.
I'm getting us ready for the show.
Oh, he's getting ready. So, but bottom line, what do you guys think? I give it an 8.5 out of 10, only because it's not. It's incredible, but it's not like that level for me. Your homework is to listen to the whole thing.
I will.
And it's truly, you might be like, wow, holy cow, whatever. But it's really a unique way. It's a unique album in its own way, and I think it's truly one of U2's best. So thank you so much for watching this. If you just didn't understand what a word we were just saying, jump in the description of this video, listen to the full album, and hit that subscribe button where we smash a lot of videos up here on the channel. I totally stole that from like 30,000 YouTube channels, but I don't care. So, alright, thank you so much for watching the video, guys. For the Forehead, where can people find you online?
Kyle Cushing 16 on Instagram, or the Forehead on YouTube.
And my Instagram has changed. It is now jt.mahoney. It's no longer J-Man Off the Rock.
Yeah, you got to change it after a while, though.
Yeah, J-Man Off the Work was a good run. But it's okay. Instagram, JT Mahoney, find me on there. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. And for all your Super Review Show and Rock Talk videos, keep up with the Super Review Show. J-Man. Off the work. See you guys later.